This podcast is produced by the Fireside Chat Club of Canada. Mwah!
Hello, and welcome to Canada as I See It. So, first things first. When I did the episode on Alberta several weeks back, I omitted telling you what the capital city of that province was. The answer? Edmonton. Please mark your friends' papers and pass them to the front of the class. This week, I'm going to tell you about British Columbia, or BC to all of its friends. Its capital is not what you would automatically guess. It is not Vancouver. Although Vancouver is its largest city. No, the capital of British Columbia is Victoria, which lies just west of Vancouver on a little plot of land called Vancouver Island. So, how did it get its name? British Columbia was the name chosen by Queen Victoria when the mainland became a British colony in 1858. It actually refers to the Columbia District, the British name for the territory drained by the Columbia River in southeastern British Columbia, which was the namesake of the pre-Oregon Treaty Columbia Department of the Hudson's Bay Company. That's a mouthful. Queen Victoria chose British Columbia to distinguish it from what was known as the American Columbia or Southern Columbia. That became the Oregon Territory in 1848. So they had 10 years to think about it and just came up with that. Ultimately, the Columbia in the name British Columbia is derived from the name of the Columbia Redviva, an American ship which lent its name to the Columbia River and later the wider region, the Columbia. Now, you can probably guess where the name Columbia came from. It's a reference to Christopher Columbus. The governments of Canada and British Columbia will also recognize Colombie-Britannique as the French name for the province. Now, the second part of our quiz requires that I ask you, how many times did I say Columbia in that last little piece? Please let me know, as I see it at warpole.ca. Thank you. So, because of the many mountain ranges and rugged coastline that BC has, its climate varies dramatically across the province. You can ski in many places. I mean, the Rocky Mountains are everywhere. But with mountains come valleys and more temperate climates where you can find vineyards and farmland. You could say it's a very Canadian province. There's a little bit of everything. Speaking of everything, the highest temperature ever recorded in Canada happened on June 29th, 2021 in Lytton, BC, just east of Whistler. Go figure, skiing country. It was actually during the worst heat wave ever experienced, and it got up to 49.6 Celsius. A few days after that, a wildfire broke out, and the whole town had to be evacuated. It's as if it spontaneously combusted. Lytton was also featured on that show I told you about on CBC called Still Standing, early on in its run, before the fire. Check it out. The link is on my website. And On the other side, BC also has the distinction of having one of the lowest temperatures ever recorded in Canada. This was in South River. The irony will hit soon. South River, right on the border it shares with Yukon. This was on January 31st, 1947, where it got down to minus 58.9 Celsius. Surprisingly, it's not the lowest that has ever been recorded in Canada, because 4 days later, the town of Snag, Yukon, 1,105 kilometers to the northwest, said, "Hold my frozen beer," and got down to minus 63 Celsius. Remember when I told you about how big Ontario is? Here's a little bit more of that distance thing. You could drive from Paris, France, to Barcelona, Spain, and still have time for dinner before getting from South River to Snag. So, back to the milder temperatures. With these, you can actually grow produce that you'd normally expect to only find in the tropics. Yes, sure, you'll find your standard potatoes, corn, broccoli, etc. But on the south coast and on Vancouver Island, you can find places, small mind you, but places where people will grow oranges, lemons, and limes. Now, granted, they use methods like heated greenhouses to extend the growing season, but you can actually drink orange juice grown in Canada. Now, on to the physical geography part of our lesson. British Columbia is the westernmost province of Canada. It's situated in the Pacific Northwest, between the Pacific Ocean and the Rocky Mountains. British Columbia borders the province of Alberta to the east, the territories of Yukon and Northwest Territories to the north, and the U.S. states of Washington, Idaho, and Montana to the south. Oh yeah, don't forget Alaska to the northwest. With an estimated population of over 5.7 million people, it is Canada's third most populous province. Now, speaking of third, Vancouver, I should probably have counted the number of times I've said that too so far. Vancouver, there's another one. Vancouver and its suburbs together make up the third largest metropolitan area in Canada. There are 2.6 million people in Metro Vancouver. Since we're on the subject of geography right now, I'd like to stop for a moment and introduce my friend Kat. You've heard Kat on the show before. In fact, you heard her at the top introducing the podcast. She lives and teaches out in British Columbia, and she has a little story here of a place that you might find interesting.
In BC, when you drive from Vancouver heading up to Whistler, you pass through a place called Britannia Beach. What's really cool about Britannia Beach is that it stands at the foot of the mountain called Mount Shear. And in this mountain is a mine, Britannia Mine. There's about 210 kilometers of tunnels that twist and wind through the mountain's heart. And there have been a lot of things that have happened at this mine. And above the mine, there was a town perched. And about 1915, there was a landslide. It buried about 56 people at the camp called Camp Jane. And families then moved up the hill even further. And it's old and abandoned now. You can't really find it, but it still connects to the mine. And because of some of these incidents that happen in and around the mine, there's a lot of ghost stories. And when you actually enter the mine, it's really quite creepy. You can sort of feel this cool air and the wind whistles through the mine. And you can really feel sort of this eerie vibe from the ghost stories. And there's a lot of security guards there who now say that they actually feel a spirit and they can hear echoes of someone saying in the background, like, hold the line, from one of the miners' experiences. So when you go, it's a really cool atmosphere, literally and figuratively, and it's a beautiful place in BC to experience.
Thank you very much, Kat. Everyone has a story, I guess, of someone famous that they know. Kat is someone famous that I know. I'll fill you in a bit later, but for now, let's talk about some of the other famous people, the celebrities that have been born in British Columbia. It must be the temperate climate out there, because they seem to grow well out there. Maybe they're using the greenhouses. So we have Kobe Smulders. She was known for roles in How I Met Your Mother and S.H.I.E.L.D. We have Joshua Jackson, known as Pacey Witter on the teen drama Dawson's Creek, which no, it has no connection to Dawson Creek in BC. He also had the title role in my opinion, the all too short drama Dr. Odyssey. Let's see, we have Carrie Ann Moss, born in Burnaby, a suburb of Vancouver. She played Trinity in the Matrix series. From Ladysmith, BC, another locale from Vancouver Island, we have Pamela Anderson. She got noticed, actually, on the Jumbotron at a BC Lions football game. You see, good things can happen on one of those things. Her career actually featured her as a pinup girl for some, and in many roles, not the least of which is Baywatch, but most recently, she was in the sequel, I guess the continuation of the Leslie Nielsen franchise, The Naked Gun, where she played the love interest to Frank Drebin Jr.'s character, played by Liam Neeson. We have Jason Priestley, he of Beverly Hills 90210 fame, and star of the Toronto-filmed Private Eye series, appropriately titled Private Eyes. He was born in North Vancouver. Now we have the frighteningly identical twins, Sean and Aaron Ashmore. Look it up. It's scary. They were born on October 7th, 1979 in Richmond, BC. Sean has played Bobby Drake and Iceman in the X-Men films. He also played Terry Fox, a couple of roles in horror films, The Ruins and Frozen, not the Disney one. And he currently plays a lawyer in the TV drama The Rookie. Now, his brother Aaron played Jimmy Olsen on the TV show Smallville and has also been seen on Veronica Mars, Ginny and Georgia, and he also had a role in a horror movie. This one was called The Thaw. Again, it's the water, or it runs in the family or something. Musicians. Oh, we're going to run down this quickly here. There's no shortage of them. We have the Payolas with the $S. Skinny Puppy, Chilliwack, The Grapes of Wrath, Prism, and Barney Bentall and the Legendary Hearts. And those, actually, that's just off the top of my head. I'm sure there's dozens more. Again, it's the water and the temperate climate, I'm sure. And there's always more to find out. You know that. I invite you to check out the links at my site and on the Podbean webpage to find out more. In order, that's warpole.ca, WHORPOLE.ca, and Podbean is firesidechatd.podbean.com. Those two sites are also where you can go to contribute to my efforts to help bring you more great stories about Canada. Just look for the Buy Me a Coffee icon in the upper right corner. Again, on my site, it's rectangular and yellow, and on Podbean, it's right there. It's just part of the menu. Today's podcast was introduced by Kat. Her name is actually Catherine Stewart. As I said earlier, Kat is one of the celebrities that I know, as well as being a professor at BCIT. That's the British Columbia Institute of Technology. She also has her own podcast that she hosts with her colleague at BCIT, Kevin Ribble. It's called Ignite My Voice. And, well, that kind of makes sense because they're both broadcast instructors there, so it just follows. Now, Ignite My Voice isn't just a podcast. That's just the audio part of the tour. No, it's part of a service that they provide that, well, let me take it from their own promotional material. Ignite My Voice uncovers the secrets to speaking with magnetic clarity. It empowers you to build trust, presence, and influence. As with my podcast, you can find Ignite My Voice wherever you get your podcast. I'll post a link to their Apple podcast version and where you can find it on Podbean. And I'll also post a link to the company's LinkedIn profile where you can read more about it and contact them. Oh, well, I can't forget this part. If you want to introduce the podcast, like Kat did today, please send me an audio recording of you saying, "This podcast is produced by the Fireside Chat Club of Canada." And you can email that to me at asiseeit@warpole.ca. WHORPOLE.ca. Canada, as I See It, is a production of the Fireside Chat Club of Canada. Our theme music that you're listening to now and at the beginning of the podcast is Night Owls by Brayton Deal. Join me next week when I take a look at an event that quite literally devastated the shoreline of Nova Scotia's capital, the Halifax explosion of 1917. Thank you so much for listening, everyone, and have yourselves a wonderful week.